Ripto's still alive, and he's locked us out of the castle. Even worse, he's stolen our new power crystal for the super portal. If you can collect enough orbs, you'll be able to get the power crystal back from Ripto, and we can send you to Dragon Shores.
Okay. Yeah, the game is fighting for its life with about 2,000 polygons per frame at the moment, I believe. But yeah, here we are. Strict limits. I thought about making a video covering, like, like, you know, sort of the peak PlayStation and peak Sega Saturn or whatever, but, like, I don't know. I've become a little bit jaded about, like, that sort of stuff, purely because it inspires a lot of, like, console warrior stuff, which I'm not that big of a fan of. It's just not something I really want to deal with, you know? Because, like, I enjoy, like, the whole console war stuff to a degree, but not when I'm, like, the main character. You know, just banter with friends is one thing, you know, but,
Well, it's some...
Okay, thanks, I guess. I don't know, it feels like... Because whenever you make videos and that kind of stuff, it's always like, what audience do I want? And I want an audience that is, like, at least trying to be nuanced, you know? Not, Because, yeah, I sometimes get, I mean, you've seen them, like, people who will just deny that Silent Hill was an important video game, and then talk about, like, N64 wrestling games and how big they were. Nobody talked about PlayStation wrestling games, you know? That sort of stuff. And it's, one of those things where I just don't want to deal with it. So it's like, you know, why it's annoying to cover. And, like, I'm aware that I can just avoid that, but the only way to really avoid those kinds of people is to, I guess, avoid the topic entirely. But then again, why would I want to let other people dictate? Like, what, will I not make videos on something if somebody, you know, acts like a dick about it? And it's a whole range of problems that I'm not too sure how to solve. Because again, you know, everybody has their biases. I mean, I have mine and you have yours. It's not like, you know, if I pretended like I had no bias, that'd just be disingenuous.
One last speedway event.
Ah, yeah, whatever. But yeah, like, that's kind of the problem, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, everybody has their biases. My bias is towards, I really like it when games visually look clean. Or when they don't look clean, I like it when they kind of look atmospheric-y, you know? But a lot of N64 games just look kind of painfully in a way that I don't really know how to describe. What's down there? Water? A secret path? I'll drop down later. First, I have to collect everything over here. But yeah, we'll see. It's a big shame, really. I mean, I'm not really a fan of... Because the term fanboy is thrown around, and I guess I am, like, it's kind of funny. I'm a fanboy of, I made the joke before, not on YouTube, but, I didn't say even fanboy, I just said every single good Sony system had Ridge Racer as a launch title, which is a really funny way to say, you know, the PlayStation 1, 2, 3,
I can see you've
PSP, and PS Vita, and not the 4 and 5, because, those have just kind of been disappointing. Like, I have a PS4, I don't have a PS5, because I couldn't be bothered. I stopped caring. Maybe that'll change eventually, but, don't count on it. But yeah. It is what it is. And it is kind of funny how, like, one of my biggest problems, I mentioned this before, but with Banjo specifically, is not only that I feel like the movement just kind of really sucks, but it also, like, frustrates me.
Spyro.
Yeah, alright, you got the orbs, defeat Rip. I don't even need to do these levels. Hold on. I do not want to fight Ripto. I want to go out so I can turn the camera around, gather the gems. Where are the other gems? Somewhere else. Oh my god, move. Okay. Hello. How many orbs are there even? So... I see another gem that I missed. Yeah, okay. So we have 400 out of 400 gems, so... Now, we're gonna go to the previous world. We have to do all the sky stuff last, but, Summer Forest, no. Autumn Plains, yes. We need to go into that one annoying level and get... We have 2 annoying levels, actually. I guess it is nice that the game auto-saves. But yeah. Yeah, we don't have one. Okay, so guidebook. We do not have everything in Fracture Hills. So, yeah, because we have to do that stupid ass fucking thing. Where is Fracture Hills again? No, is it up here? Oh, that's Zephyr. That's Metro Speedway. I always do the speedways last because I know that I will be frustrated by them. So I just delay it as much as possible. One thing I regret is when I was doing the GTA Liberty City stories and then San Andreas, I didn't get any of the optional sort of collectibles. I did all the missions that I could, but I didn't do like the collectible hunting, hidden packages, you know, that sort of stuff. And I feel like it kind of sucks that I didn't do that because how, you know, it's gonna feel a little bit weird if I... Hey, here we go. Oh, yeah, I know how frustrating this will be as well, but yeah. I don't know, I kind of regret it a little bit because it's just gonna suck. If I have a 1 in 100% of them, I'll have to do so much again. Okay. So there's a... Ow. So there's a mission I have to... It's such a big shame I didn't do research before, because there was a mission I did for no reason. Because you have to do it again now. I know we already did the mission, but you have to do it a second time. And if you're wondering why, well, you remember how we saved, Hunter when his legs were encased in concrete? Well, if we head back to do the mission with him again, well, would you believe it? I can't find him now. That's not good. He's in here, right? Actually, where even? Oh, he's in here, yeah. And you can't free him.
Just
You have to talk to that science guy over there. That's the only way you can do that. And I'm gonna be skipping this because I don't care to do it again. So yeah, then...
Yeah.
One moment. Of course I did it first try for whatever reason.
Man,
Yeah, and now we have to talk to him again, and we'll be able to do another mission.
as long as you're here.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I disconnected my microphone at some moment. Why couldn't... You gotta
As
be
long as
shitting me,
you're
really?
here, we make...
Yeah. Okay, we're done here. I hope I'll never have to see the stage again. Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye. Now there's one more stage. We have to do that one. One thing which I was thinking about, I sent a question to the developer. For those who don't know, there's this engine called the Joe engine. It's a Sega Saturn thing. And specifically, it's made by a guy who's done quite a few things with it. And one of those things was a type of voxel space renderer. For those who don't know, you know how Minecraft uses voxels? Well, this isn't like Minecraft. This is just a very sort of cheap way to render 3D like terrain. Some other games use it at the time, and the big benefit of this... Oh yeah, this is the world we have to do. The big benefit of those graphics is they can, like, the terrain can be drawn really quickly by just the CPU without any
Spyro.
yeah. Without any need for yeah, so we just need to do the stuff. Okay. Basically, you don't have any need for, like, hardware rendering, or even, like, hardware rasterization. The CPU just draws stuff by itself, you know. And that's obviously a huge benefit for, like, processors in 1992 or whatever, right? But, more importantly for us, there was a game called Amor that looks pretty fucking good on the Saturn, and it uses no polygons at all. It's all voxel-based. And that kind of made me think, like, hold on a minute, could we, like, have something going here? Because there's another really impressive, like, game project being made by a completely different developer. And the developer's name... I forget the name of the developer, but they made an engine that uses... Well, the dev called it super quads. It's basically a way of tessellating and detessellating terrain that makes it just function really well. I'm kind of tripping over my words here. What I'm trying to say is, it basically intelligently, like, similarly to how some PS1 games will, like, split up geometry and crush it back down in order to, like, lower and increase the amount of polygons on the screen so that both the CPU and GPU can kind of keep up with minimum, like, visual distortion using the textures. It's a similar idea there. And that basically resulted in them loading in a map that was essentially... First of all, like, an example map was... So, okay, we're back. So yeah, they had a level of the bomb battlefield that ran perfectly fine. Looked honestly better than the one on the N64 version. Not as good as the DS one, I think. I don't know. But the point is, the level looked fine. However, and this is, you know, the however, though the level may have looked fine, the game... Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Do we have to do all that all over again? I hope not. Okay, we're back here. So even though that was done in, you know, the level ran at like 20 to 30 FPS, which, especially by Saturn standards, is more than fine. The crazy part is, it was only using, like, a single CPU and VDP1, which would mean that, if you're following, you know this, if you would hypothetically only use, like, if you only used VDP1 for that and one CPU, logic would dictate that if you used, you know, the other if you could only use one CPU for the other technique, you know, like, for the voxel rendering, you could get more power. Because on the Saturn, not only are you limited by, you know, the CPU, you're also limited by literally everything, and you have to balance it weirdly. It's, definitely food for thought.
Thanks for helping me
Yeah. It's, kind of why the Saturn is so interesting to me, at least. Anyways,
Spyro.
Catch the Willy Thieves. Where are they? Oh, these again. Yeah, sure, we'll go after them. Please don't tell me it's timed. It doesn't seem to be timed. Well, before we do that, I have to get some health. But yeah, like... Shit. I'm gonna... Fuck, I'm gonna die here, aren't I? Wait a minute, I have an idea. Come here. Yeah. Because what you gotta understand with the Saturn and with all the other systems, literally no system is perfect. So, it's all just a bunch of, like, math to see what, you know, it's kind of like a bunch of mental math to see what you really want and how to achieve it, you know? If, for instance, if you just kind of generally want to do... And this is the thing with a lot of tech demos are, like, kind of easier to get working on the N64 because they're tech demos, but as we know, that was kind of, if you ever read about, like, I forget who it was, but one of the system designers talking about the N64, they were like, oh yeah, we focused on peak power, and we focused on, you know, they basically focused on it being the flashiest, and they didn't have as much experience actually developing for the systems, so they didn't, you know, really optimize it for it being particularly easy to design for. Now, a lot of people will mention Saturn's sort of architecture that's as we all probably hopefully know, kind of complicated, as an example of a system that was hard to develop for. And while it wasn't easy, the Saturn is actually, especially for back then, if you actually had the development tools, it was actually kind of deceptively easy. Like, if you wanted to do some stuff, because it was a fairly unlimited system. What I specifically mean is something like the N64 has very obvious... Well, I guess we can start with the PlayStation because it's the easiest. Something like the PlayStation has, some seriously, like, basically the limits are very straightforward. If you make a PlayStation game, you're going to end up, like, reaching some very specific limits. that are, like, the way you optimize a PS1 game further is by doing some kind of specific stuff. Stuff like trying to optimize your NOP instructions or whatever, trying to make it so because the geometry transformation engine does stuff that takes a few cycles, you can extract more performance by interleaving other instructions inside of it. It's very... The PS1 is very straightforward, so a lot of the optimization on it comes from sort of getting the smaller stuff down to working like clockwork. Meanwhile, when you look at the, you know, N64, a lot of its optimization comes down to trying to, like, make it so the cache, and not the cache, sorry, so that the memory doesn't get bottlenecked. Because the memory is, as we hopefully all know, just exorbitantly, miserably slow. And with the Saturn, it's kind of interesting because, like, the memory was way lower latency than on the N64. But, for whatever reason, the layout did require a bit of an understanding. But again, sadly, for you and me and for basically everybody else, the Saturn had a very, like, limited shelf life. So we never really got to see a lot of the, like, ideas on it to really bear fruit, you know? It's a shame. And it's one of those things where, this is like a Sega staple, where somebody will look at a Sega thing and they're gonna be like, you know, oh, well, think about the potential, even though the thing itself that they're talking about actually, you know, kinda...
Might eat.
Not now. I'm doing other stuff. But yeah, you know, like, people will talk about Sonic 06 and how revolutionary it could have been only if Sega listened, if, oh, you know, but it's all hypothetical, and in reality, the system sucks. Okay.
Thanks for bringing.
Yeah. I need to do the other one. Come on, Simon, we have a mission to do. One more mission, so... Well, that could be bad. Hello.
Might eat.
Huh, follow Gruntine, okay. Huh, okay.
I have a.
All of them? Oh, I thought I did 7 out of 8. Never mind, I guess. But yeah. We're done? I think we are done, right? Yeah, we are done. Okay, we now have to... Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, look at how few levels there are in the Winter Tundra. Anyways, yeah, let's head there then. Anyways, yeah, as I was saying, I don't know, with the Saturn specifically, I guess the thing is that it's, like, really interesting hardware, and you could still really do a lot with it, but it depends on what you want to do. Because, again, like, some of this stuff may seem cool on paper, but then actually implementing it and you start to, like, run into problems. Okay, here we are, Arctic Tundra, I guess Winter Tundra, here we go. Because, you know, if we go with my hypothetical, theoretical system, like, oftentimes, you can just get stuff to work when you're, like, just rendering a simple world. And then when you actually have to add, like, enemy AI, and you have to add all the other stuff, you know, things kind of begin to fall apart. You know, the more complex the enemy AI is, the less impressive the visuals will generally be in these sorts of games, right? Yeah, we're missing one. Think I know where it is, though. Hold on. Let me do a blind guess. So it's not anywhere here. So it's probably behind this. That's my guess, at least. If I go over here, look down. Well, what's down here, I wonder? Yeah. Yep. Here it is. And what level is this? Yeah, we don't need the speedway. Well, you know what? This is a bit of a shorter episode because I just wanted to get all the previous stuff. And then I guess next time we'll do... Oh, here's the level. It's, Mystic Marsh. See you when we do that. Bye-bye.